In today's world, where the pressures of social media, career expectations, and personal relationships often push us toward unrealistic standards of perfection, it's easy to feel inadequate. We constantly strive to be the perfect version of ourselves, flawless in appearance, behavior, and achievement. But at what cost? Haemin Sunim, a renowned Buddhist monk and one of the most influential spiritual leaders in South Korea, offers an antidote to this overwhelming quest for perfection in his deeply insightful book, For Imperfect Things: How to Accept Yourself in a World Striving for Perfection. In this book, Sunim combines his wisdom from years of Buddhist teaching with accessible life advice, reminding us that true happiness doesn't come from perfection, but from accepting ourselves, flaws and all. Sunim's message is clear. Embracing imperfections, both within ourselves and in others, is the key to emotional freedom and living a more peaceful, contented life. This book addresses common struggles such as self-doubt, anxiety, and relationship challenges, offering guidance through simple but profound lessons. For Imperfect Things is not just a book filled with philosophical musings, but also a practical guide on how to live with more compassion, both toward ourselves and others. Through gentle advice, personal stories, and teachings inspired by his Buddhist background, Sunim explores topics like self-care, mindfulness, empathy, and the art of letting go. In this video, we will dive deep into the valuable teachings from the book, exploring how Sunim's insights can be integrated into daily life. We'll discuss how we can build healthier routines around self-compassion, foster better relationships, and handle stress more gracefully. Sunim's lessons are not about striving for constant happiness, but learning how to accept and navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with grace and compassion. As we explore the core themes and actionable principles from For Imperfect Things, you will find that this book doesn't just offer abstract philosophical ideas. It offers a way to reshape your daily habits so you can live a more fulfilling life, embracing your imperfections along the way. Embracing imperfection. We begin with a profound truth that Haemin Sunim reminds us of early on in For Imperfect Things: the beauty of imperfection. It's a concept many of us struggle with, as modern society pushes us toward ideals of flawlessness in every aspect of life. From our appearance to our careers, and even in the way we maintain relationships, perfection is often the unspoken goal. But Sunim offers a crucial shift in perspective. Rather than seeing imperfection as something to overcome or correct, he asks us to embrace it as an essential and beautiful part of the human experience. The myth of perfection. Sunim speaks directly to our societal obsession with perfection. He writes, "We live in an age where we are constantly being compared with others, measured by our productivity, our success, and even our beauty. The desire to be perfect can weigh heavily on our hearts." In this powerful statement, Sunim captures a common feeling many of us experience. We've been conditioned to think that if we just achieve perfection, we'll be happy. But as Sunim wisely points out, this idea is a myth. Chasing perfection leads not to happiness, but to constant dissatisfaction. No matter how hard we try, perfection will always be just out of reach, leaving us feeling inadequate. Think about it. Have you ever spent hours trying to perfect something only to feel frustrated and unfulfilled in the end? This happens because perfection is an unattainable goal. It keeps moving further away the closer we get. In the pursuit of perfection, we lose sight of the joy and beauty of what already is. Accepting our flaws. Sunim invites us to let go of this impossible chase and accept our flaws. He teaches that imperfections are what make us human, and they are a source of connection rather than shame. Our vulnerabilities, our mistakes, and our limitations, They are all part of the richness of life. When we accept them, we open ourselves up to deeper self-love and compassion for others. One of the most powerful takeaways from this chapter is that imperfection is not a barrier to happiness. In fact, it's the key to it. Sunim writes, "If we can accept that we are imperfect, we can begin to relax. We stop trying so hard to meet impossible standards, and we can find peace in who we are." This is a radical shift in thinking for many of us. Rather than seeing imperfections as something to fix, we can start to see them as something to celebrate. They make us unique, and they make life interesting. Imperfection in relationships. Sunim also expands this idea of embracing imperfection to our relationships with others. Just as we are imperfect, so are the people we love. And just as we need to accept our own flaws, we need to accept the flaws of those around us. Often, the desire for perfect relationships can create tension and disappointment. We expect our loved ones to meet certain standards, or to act in ways that align with our ideals. But this expectation sets us up for frustration because no one is perfect. In one of the book's memorable lines, Sunim says, "When we are able to let go of our need for others to be perfect, we can begin to see them for who they truly are. And in that acceptance, love can deepen." This quote encapsulates a crucial lesson for all relationships, whether with a partner, family, or friends. The more we accept others as they are, the more authentic and fulfilling our relationships become. By letting go of the unrealistic expectations we place on others, we create space for deeper connection and understanding. Practical steps for embracing imperfection. So, how do we actually put this into practice? How do we stop striving for perfection and start embracing imperfection in a world that constantly tells us otherwise? 1. Notice your inner critic. The first step is becoming aware of the inner critic that demands perfection. Sunim suggests paying attention to the moments when this voice gets loud. It might happen at work, when you feel you need to meet impossible deadlines, or in social situations where you compare yourself to others. Simply noticing this inner voice can help you recognize how often you fall into the perfection trap. 2. Reframe your thinking. Once you've identified the moments when you're striving for perfection, try to reframe your thinking. Instead of asking, "How can I make this perfect?" ask, "What can I appreciate about this as it is?" Shifting the focus from perfection to appreciation allows you to embrace the present moment and all its imperfections. 3. Celebrate your mistakes. Sunim also encourages us to celebrate our mistakes. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow, and it's through these imperfections that we gain wisdom. Rather than feeling ashamed of your mistakes, try to see them as a natural and valuable part of life. 4. Extend compassion to others. Just as you are learning to embrace your own imperfections, practice extending this compassion to others. The next time someone in your life makes a mistake or falls short of your expectations, remind yourself that they, too, are human. Practice patience and understanding, and allow room for growth in your relationships. Living with more peace and joy. By embracing imperfection, we open ourselves up to living with more peace and joy. We free ourselves from the exhausting pursuit of unattainable ideals, and instead focus on what truly matters: connection, love, and growth. Sunim's wisdom teaches us that imperfections are not obstacles to happiness, but are, in fact, the gateway to it. The more we accept and love ourselves as we are, the more we can extend that love and compassion to the world around us. This is the heart of Sunim's message in Love for Imperfect Things. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. The importance of self-care. In Love for Imperfect Things, Haemin Sunim emphasizes a crucial element often neglected in modern life: self-care. This section of the book speaks to the deep necessity of tending to our own needs and well-being. In a world that constantly demands more from us, where productivity and external success are often prioritized over personal health and happiness, Sunim's wisdom serves as a timely reminder that self-care is not a luxury, but a fundamental practice for living a balanced, fulfilling life. Self-care, the foundation of inner peace. One of Sunim's key messages is that self-care is the foundation of inner peace. Without taking care of ourselves, physically, emotionally, and mentally, it becomes impossible to care for others effectively, or to show up as our best selves. This concept is especially relevant in today's fast-paced society, where many people feel burned out from constantly giving to their jobs, families, and communities, while neglecting their own well-being. Sunim writes, "You do not need permission to rest. You deserve rest simply because you are a human being, not because you have worked hard enough to earn it." This quote captures the heart of his argument. We do not need to justify our need for rest or self-care. It is our right as human beings to tend to our own needs, regardless of how productive or successful we have been. Why we struggle with self-care. One of the most thought-provoking ideas Sunim discusses is why so many people struggle with self-care. Often, we feel guilty about taking time for ourselves. We might believe that self-care is selfish, that we should be constantly working or doing things for others. This guilt is especially common among caregivers, parents, and those in high-stress professions. Sunim addresses this by pointing out the flaw in our thinking. He suggests that when we neglect ourselves, we actually diminish our ability to help others. Just as you cannot pour from an empty cup, you cannot offer your best self to others when you are drained and exhausted. Therefore, self-care is not only about taking care of yourself, but about ensuring that you have the energy and presence to show up fully for those who need you. He writes, "When you are kind to yourself, your kindness naturally flows to others." Self-compassion and compassion for others are not two different things. They are two sides of the same coin. Physical, mental, and emotional self-care. Sunim highlights the importance of caring for all aspects of ourselves, physical, mental, and emotional. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths or taking a day off work, although those can be part of it. It's about nurturing every part of ourselves in a way that supports our overall well-being. Physical self-care. Sunim encourages us to listen to our bodies. This could mean getting enough sleep, eating nourishing food, moving our bodies in ways that feel good, and knowing when to rest. Physical self-care is about maintaining the body as the vessel that supports us in all areas of life. Mental self-care. Mental self-care involves managing stress and finding ways to quiet the constant chatter of the mind. Sunim recommends mindfulness practices, such as meditation, as a way to clear mental clutter and bring more calm into daily life. He also emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries with technology and social media, which can often contribute to mental overwhelm. Emotional self-care. Emotions are a significant part of our experience, and Sunim encourages us to allow space for all emotions, not just the positive ones. Emotional self-care is about processing feelings without judgment and learning to sit with discomfort. It's about acknowledging sadness, anger, and frustration as valid emotions and allowing them to pass through us without suppressing or avoiding them. Creating a self-care routine. One of the most practical aspects of this chapter is Sunim's advice on how to create a self-care routine that feels manageable and consistent. He encourages small, sustainable steps that can fit into even the busiest of schedules. Rather than overhauling your life in one go, Sunim suggests integrating moments of self-care throughout your day. Here are some actionable tips from Sunim's teachings that can help you start a self-care routine. 1. Start the day with intention. Before jumping into your busy day, take a moment to set an intention. This could be as simple as a mindful breath, a short meditation, or writing down what you're grateful for. Sunim believes that starting the day with mindfulness helps you stay grounded, no matter what challenges arise. 2. Incorporate mindfulness into daily tasks. You don't need to carve out hours of your day for self-care. Sunim suggests bringing mindfulness to everyday activities, such as eating, walking, or even washing dishes. By focusing on the present moment, you can turn these ordinary tasks into opportunities for self-nurturing and grounding. 3. Listen to your body. One of the key lessons from this chapter is to listen to what your body needs. If you're tired, allow yourself to rest. If you're hungry, eat nourishing food. If you need to move, go for a walk or stretch. Tuning into your body's signals and honoring them is an essential form of self-care. 4. Set boundaries. Self-care also involves setting boundaries both with others and with yourself. If you find that you're constantly overcommitted, Sunim recommends practicing saying no without guilt. Protecting your time and energy is a critical aspect of self-care. 5. Check in with yourself emotionally. Throughout the day, take moments to check in with how you're feeling. Are you stressed, anxious, or frustrated? Allow yourself to feel those emotions without judgment. Sunim encourages the practice of self-compassion, offering yourself kindness just as you would to a friend in need. The ripple effect of self-care. One of the most powerful messages Sunim conveys in this chapter is that self-care not only benefits you, but also has a ripple effect on those around you. When you are calm, centered, and rested, you are better able to offer kindness and support to others. Sunim argues that self-care is a gift to both yourself and the people in your life. He writes, "Taking care of yourself is taking care of others. When you prioritize your well-being, your love and compassion naturally flow to the people you care about." This quote encapsulates the core idea of this chapter. Self-care is not selfish. It's a necessary act of love, both for yourself and for those you care about. Self-care in practice, a daily routine. If you're looking to integrate Sunim's teachings into your daily life, here's a simple routine based on the principles of self-care from For Imperfect Things. Morning. Start the day with a 5-minute meditation or breathing exercise. Set a mindful intention for the day. Throughout the day, bring mindfulness to daily tasks. Take short breaks to check in with how you're feeling, both physically and emotionally. Evening. Dedicate 10-15 minutes to an activity that replenishes you, whether it's reading, taking a bath, or practicing gratitude. Before bed, reflect on your day with kindness. Let go of any mistakes or imperfections and offer yourself compassion for whatever challenges arose. Handling stress gracefully. In For Imperfect Things, Haemin Sunim provides profound insights into managing and handling stress with grace and mindfulness. Stress is an inevitable part of life, whether it comes from work, relationships, or personal challenges. However, Sunim reminds us that how we respond to stress determines its impact on our well-being. He emphasizes that stress, while unavoidable, can be managed mindfully and with compassion toward ourselves. Understanding stress as part of life. The first step in handling stress gracefully is recognizing that stress is a natural part of life. Sunim encourages us to accept stress without letting it consume us. He writes, "Stress itself is not the problem. It's our relationship with stress that can create suffering." This perspective shifts our focus from trying to eliminate stress entirely to understanding how we can respond to it in a healthier way. By acknowledging stress without resistance, we free ourselves from the additional layer of tension caused by fighting against it. The role of mindfulness in stress management. Mindfulness plays a pivotal role in stress management. When we are mindful, we can observe our stressors without being overwhelmed by them. Sunim suggests that by bringing awareness to the present moment, we can create space between ourselves and the stress, allowing us to respond more calmly and effectively. He advises, when you feel stressed, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. This small pause can create a gap between your emotions and your reaction, giving you the clarity to choose how to respond. Mindful breathing is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for handling stress. By focusing on your breath, you anchor yourself in the present, which helps to calm the mind and reduce feelings of overwhelm. Practical steps for handling stress. Sunim provides practical, actionable steps for handling stress gracefully, focusing on mindfulness and self-compassion. 1. Pause and breathe. When you notice stress rising, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes and take a few deep, intentional breaths. This simple practice slows down your racing thoughts and brings you back to the present moment. 2. Acknowledge your stress. Instead of denying or pushing away your stress, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling stressed right now, and allow yourself to experience it without judgment. Acknowledging your stress helps you accept it without becoming overwhelmed. 3. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend going through a stressful time. Sunim emphasizes the importance of speaking to yourself gently, rather than harshly criticizing yourself for feeling stressed. Remind yourself that it's okay to experience stress and that you're doing your best. 4. Shift your perspective. Stress often narrows our focus, making us feel as though our problems are larger than they are. Sunim encourages us to broaden our perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? By shifting your perspective, you can put your stressors into context and reduce their immediate impact on your emotions. 5. Engage in mindful activities. Sunim suggests that engaging in mindful activities such as walking, meditating, or even doing simple tasks like cooking can help manage stress. These activities allow you to focus on the present, calming your mind and creating space to process your emotions. 6. Let go of control. Much of our stress comes from trying to control things beyond our control. Sunim advises us to let go of this need for control. He writes, we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Let go of the need to control the outcome and trust in the process. Quotes on stress management. Haemin Sunim's wisdom on handling stress is captured in these poignant quotes from For Imperfect Things. Stress does not come from the outside world, but from the thoughts we attach to the situations we face. When we change our thoughts, we change our experience of stress. In the midst of chaos, we can find stillness within. All it takes is a moment of mindfulness. A deep breath, a pause, a shift in perspective. Let go of the need to have everything figured out. Trust that the present moment contains everything you need to handle whatever comes next. These quotes reflect Sunim's message that stress is less about the external pressures we face and more about how we choose to engage with them. The importance of rest and self-care. An essential component of handling stress gracefully is prioritizing rest and self-care. Sunim emphasizes that self-care is not a luxury but a necessity, especially during stressful times. When we take care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, we build resilience against stress and prevent burnout. He writes, when we are tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, the best thing we can do is rest. Our bodies and minds need rest to recharge and heal. Sunim advocates for taking breaks, getting enough sleep, and engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation. Self-care practices like reading, spending time in nature, or simply doing nothing for a while can help alleviate stress and restore balance in our lives. Developing a balanced routine. Creating a balanced routine is key to managing stress over the long term. Sunim suggests incorporating mindful practices into your daily life to build a foundation of calm and resilience. Here's a simple routine inspired by his teachings. Morning mindfulness. Begin your day with a few minutes of mindful breathing or meditation. This helps set a peaceful tone for the rest of the day. Mindful breaks. Throughout the day, take short breaks to practice mindfulness. Step away from your work, stretch, and take deep breaths. These small moments of mindfulness prevent stress from building up. Evening reflection. End your day with a mindful reflection. Think about the day's events. Acknowledge any stress you experienced, and offer yourself compassion for how you handled it. This practice helps release any lingering tension before bed. By creating a routine that includes mindfulness, self-care, and reflection, you'll find it easier to handle stress as it arises. Cultivating patience and trust. Sunim teaches that stress often arises from impatience and a lack of trust in the natural flow of life. We become stressed when things don't go according to our plans, or when we feel pressured to achieve certain outcomes quickly. Cultivating patience and trust can help alleviate this stress. He encourages us to trust in the timing of our lives and to recognize that not everything needs to be controlled or rushed. By letting go of our need for immediate results and embracing the uncertainty of life, we can reduce the pressure we place on ourselves and, in turn, experience less stress. Responding with grace handling. Stress gracefully is about more than just reducing the intensity of stress. It's about responding to life's challenges with calmness, awareness, and compassion. By incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives, acknowledging our stress without judgment, and taking care of ourselves, we can navigate even the most difficult moments with grace. Sunim's message in For Imperfect Things reminds us that while stress may be inevitable, suffering is not. When we approach stress with mindfulness and self-compassion, we create space for peace and clarity in our lives, no matter what circumstances we face. In the next chapter, we will explore forgiveness, how we can release resentment and cultivate a heart that is open to healing and understanding. Forgiveness, embracing healing and understanding. Forgiveness is a powerful and transformative practice that Haemin Sunim explores in For Imperfect Things. It is a central theme in his teachings, offering a pathway to emotional freedom and inner peace. Forgiveness is not merely about letting go of grudges. It's about cultivating a compassionate and understanding heart, both toward ourselves and others. Understanding forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or an act of condoning wrongdoing. However, Sunim redefines forgiveness as a profound act of strength and self-liberation. He emphasizes that forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing the hurtful actions of others, but about freeing ourselves from the burden of resentment and anger. Sunim writes, "Forgiveness is not about forgetting the past, but about letting go of the hold it has over our hearts. It's a gift we give ourselves to release the pain and move forward with peace." This perspective shifts the focus of forgiveness from an external act to an internal process. It's about finding peace within ourselves, regardless of what others have done. Forgiveness allows us to heal and grow, ultimately leading to a more harmonious and fulfilled life. The emotional impact of holding on to resentment. Holding on to resentment and anger can have significant emotional and physical consequences. Sunim highlights that these negative emotions often manifest as stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. When we cling to past grievances, we perpetuate our own suffering and hinder our ability to experience joy and contentment. He explains, resentment is like a heavy weight we carry with us everywhere we go. It drains our energy and colors our interactions with others. Letting go of resentment lightens our load and allows us to breathe more freely. The emotional burden of holding on to grudges can also affect our relationships. It creates barriers between us and others, preventing us from forming genuine, healthy connections. By forgiving, we open ourselves up to deeper understanding and empathy, which enriches our interactions and fosters more meaningful relationships. Steps to cultivate forgiveness. Sunim offers practical guidance for cultivating forgiveness, both toward others and ourselves. Here are some steps inspired by his teachings. 1. Acknowledge your feelings. The first step in forgiveness is acknowledging the pain and hurt you feel. It's important to recognize and validate your emotions, rather than suppressing or ignoring them. Sunim advises, allow yourself to fully feel your emotions. Only by acknowledging them can you begin the process of healing. 2. Understand the other person's perspective. Empathy is a key component of forgiveness. Try to understand the perspective and motivations of the person who hurt you. Sunim suggests, when we see others through the lens of their own struggles and imperfections, we can find it easier to offer compassion and forgiveness. 3. Release the need for revenge. Holding on to a desire for revenge or retribution prolongs your suffering. Sunim encourages us to let go of this need and focus on finding peace instead. He writes, revenge only perpetuates the cycle of pain. True freedom comes from letting go of the desire to get even. Practice self-compassion. Forgiveness also involves forgiving yourself for any perceived mistakes or shortcomings. Sunim emphasizes that self-compassion is crucial in this process. Be gentle with yourself. Recognize that you are doing the best you can, and offer yourself the same forgiveness you would offer to others. 5. Let go of control. Often, we cling to resentment because we want to control or change the past. Sunim advises, accept that you cannot change what has already happened. Let go of the need to control the past and focus on how you can move forward with a lighter heart. 6. Focus on the present and future. Shift your focus from past hurts to the present and future. Sunim encourages us to use forgiveness as a tool to create a more positive and fulfilling future. Forgiveness frees us to live in the present and embrace the possibilities of the future without the weight of past grievances. Forgiveness in practice. Daily exercises. Incorporating forgiveness into your daily life can be transformative. Here are some exercises to practice forgiveness. Forgiveness. Meditation. Set aside a few minutes each day to meditate on forgiveness. Visualize the person who has hurt you and imagine letting go of the anger and resentment you feel. This practice helps to release emotional tension and cultivate a sense of peace. Gratitude. Journaling. Write down things you are grateful for, including any positive experiences that have come from challenging situations. This exercise helps shift your focus from what you've lost to what you've gained, making forgiveness easier. Compassionate letters. Write a letter to someone who has hurt you, expressing your feelings and offering forgiveness. You don't need to send the letter. The act of writing it can be a powerful way to process and release your emotions. Self-reflection. Regularly reflect on areas where you may need to offer forgiveness to yourself. Consider any self-criticism or guilt you are holding on to, and practice self-compassion to release these burdens. Forgiveness and inner peace. Forgiveness is intrinsically linked to inner peace. By letting go of past grievances and extending compassion to ourselves and others, we create a more harmonious and serene inner world. Sunim teaches that true peace comes from releasing the burdens of resentment and embracing the freedom that forgiveness offers. He writes, inner peace is not found in avoiding conflicts, but in resolving them with a heart full of forgiveness. When we forgive, we make room for peace to enter. The path to healing forgiveness is a transformative journey that leads to emotional healing and personal growth. It allows us to release the hold of past hurts and embrace a more compassionate and understanding perspective. By practicing forgiveness, we free ourselves from the weight of resentment and open our hearts to greater peace and connection. Sunim's teachings in For Imperfect Things remind us that forgiveness is not a one-time event but an ongoing process. It's a practice that requires patience, empathy, and self-compassion. As we cultivate forgiveness in our lives, we create space for healing, understanding, and deeper relationships and boundaries, nurturing healthy connections. In For Imperfect Things, Haemin Sunim delves into the intricacies of relationships and the importance of setting healthy boundaries. Relationships are integral to our lives, shaping our experiences and contributing to our overall well-being. However, maintaining balanced and fulfilling relationships requires understanding and respecting boundaries, both our own and those of others. The role of boundaries in relationships. Boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy and respectful relationships. They are the limits we set to protect our emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Sunim emphasizes that boundaries are not about creating distance or isolation, but about ensuring that relationships are nurturing and mutually supportive. Sunim writes, "Boundaries are not barriers to love, but rather the framework within which love can grow. They help us respect ourselves and others, creating a space where relationships can thrive." Setting boundaries helps prevent feelings of overwhelm and resentment. It allows us to communicate our needs and expectations clearly, fostering mutual respect and understanding. Healthy boundaries also help us maintain a sense of self, ensuring that we do not lose ourselves in our relationships. Recognizing and communicating your needs. A crucial aspect of setting boundaries is recognizing and communicating your own needs. It's important to be aware of what you require to feel safe, respected, and fulfilled in your relationships. Sunim advises, understanding your own needs is the first step towards setting boundaries that support your well-being. Communicate these needs with honesty and compassion. Effective communication about boundaries involves expressing your needs clearly and assertively, while being open to the needs and boundaries of others. Sunim suggests using I statements to express your feelings and needs without placing blame. For example, saying, "I need some quiet time to recharge," is more constructive than, "You're always too noisy." Setting boundaries with empathy. Setting boundaries does not mean being rigid or unfeeling. It's important to approach boundary setting with empathy and consideration for the other person's feelings. Sunim encourages us to balance assertiveness with compassion. Boundaries are most effective when they are set with kindness and understanding. Consider how your boundaries impact others and communicate with empathy. When setting boundaries, try to understand the other person's perspective and be willing to negotiate where possible. This collaborative approach helps maintain harmony and strengthens relationships. For example, if a friend frequently calls during work hours, discuss alternative times for communication that respect both your work commitments and your friendship. Handling boundary violations. Boundary violations can occur even in well-intentioned relationships. It's important to address these violations constructively rather than letting them fester. Sunim advises, when a boundary is crossed, address it calmly and directly. Use it as an opportunity for growth and understanding in the relationship. When discussing a boundary violation, focus on the specific behavior rather than making personal attacks. For instance, instead of saying, "You're always disrespectful," try, "I feel uncomfortable when my personal space is not respected." This approach helps keep the conversation focused on the issue at hand and reduces defensiveness. It's also important to be prepared for the possibility that some people may react negatively to your boundaries. In such cases, Sunim suggests maintaining your stance while remaining open to dialogue. Stand firm in your boundaries while remaining open to hearing the other person's perspective. This balance helps ensure that boundaries are respected without causing unnecessary conflict. Conflict. Balancing boundaries in different types of relationships. Boundaries vary depending on the nature of the relationship. Sunim highlights the importance of tailoring boundaries to suit different contexts, such as personal, professional, and familial relationships. Personal relationships. In close personal relationships, boundaries often involve emotional and physical space. For instance, setting limits on how often you need alone time, or how much emotional support you can provide at a given time, helps maintain balance and prevent burnout. Professional relationships. Boundaries in professional settings often involve work hours, communication expectations, and respect for personal time. Setting clear boundaries regarding work-life balance helps prevent work-related stress from spilling over into personal life. Familial relationships. Family dynamics can be complex, and setting boundaries may require sensitivity and diplomacy. Sunim advises addressing family boundary issues with care, acknowledging family members' feelings while also asserting your own needs. Maintaining boundaries. Over time. Boundaries are not static. They can evolve based on changes in your life and relationships. Sunim suggests periodically reassessing and adjusting your boundaries to ensure they continue to serve your well-being and the health of your relationships. As life changes, so do our needs and boundaries. Regularly check in with yourself and your relationships to make necessary adjustments. Open communication is key to maintaining boundaries over time. Regularly discuss your boundaries with those close to you to ensure mutual understanding and respect. This ongoing dialogue helps reinforce boundaries and address any issues that may arise. Practical exercises for setting boundaries. Here are some exercises to help you set and maintain healthy boundaries. Boundary reflection. Take time to reflect on your current boundaries. Are they working for you? Are there areas where you feel your boundaries are being tested or violated? Journaling your thoughts can help clarify your needs and adjustments. Role-playing. Practice setting boundaries through role-playing scenarios. This exercise helps build confidence in expressing your needs and handling potential reactions from others. Assertiveness. Training. Develop assertiveness skills through workshops or self-help resources. Learning to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively enhances your ability to maintain them. Boundary contracts. Create a written agreement with close relationships outlining mutual boundaries and expectations. This formalized approach helps ensure clarity and commitment from all parties involved. Embracing healthy relationships. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries is essential for nurturing fulfilling relationships. By recognizing your needs, communicating clearly, and handling boundary violations constructively, you create a space where relationships can thrive. Boundaries allow us to engage with others in a way that respects both ourselves and them, fostering deeper, more authentic connections. Sunim's insights in Love for Imperfect Things remind us that boundaries are not about creating distance, but about creating a foundation for love and respect. As we navigate our relationships, let us approach boundary setting with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to our own well-being. In the section on navigating family dynamics, Haemin Sunim addresses the complexities and challenges inherent in family relationships. He explores how understanding and managing these dynamics can lead to healthier and more harmonious family interactions. Sunim begins by acknowledging that family relationships often come with a unique set of challenges due to the deep emotional bonds and long-standing histories involved. He emphasizes that family members are frequently intertwined in a web of expectations, past grievances, and personal differences. these factors can contribute to conflicts and misunderstandings within the family unit. One of the key themes Sunim explores is the concept of unconditional love within families. He explains that while unconditional love is an ideal, it can be challenging to practice consistently. Family members may have different values, beliefs, and ways of interacting, which can lead to disagreements and friction. Sunim advises that approaching family relationships with compassion and empathy can help navigate these differences and foster a more supportive environment. Sunim also discusses the importance of communication in managing family dynamics. He highlights that open and honest communication is essential for resolving conflicts and building stronger relationships. Sunim recommends active listening and expressing oneself clearly and respectfully. By addressing issues directly and constructively, family members can work towards mutual understanding and resolution. Another significant aspect Sunim addresses is the impact of past experiences and unresolved issues on current family interactions. He notes that unresolved grievances from the past can continue to influence present relationships, often leading to recurring patterns of conflict. Sunim suggests that addressing these past issues through dialogue and introspection can help to break these patterns and promote healing within the family. Sunim also emphasizes the importance of setting healthy boundaries in family relationships. He explains that boundaries are crucial for maintaining individual well-being and preventing burnout. By establishing and respecting personal limits, family members can create a balanced dynamic where each person's needs and space are acknowledged and honored. In addition to managing conflicts, Sunim encourages family members to cultivate appreciation and gratitude for one another. He suggests that expressing gratitude for the positive aspects of family relationships can help to shift focus away from conflicts and towards the strengths and supportive elements within the family. This shift in perspective can contribute to a more positive and nurturing family environment. The section also includes practical advice for handling specific family situations, such as dealing with difficult relatives or managing differing opinions. Sunim advises maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, focusing on solutions rather than problems, and seeking common ground whenever possible. He acknowledges that navigating family dynamics can be challenging, but emphasizes that patience and perseverance are key to fostering healthier relationships. Sunim concludes by reflecting on the role of family in personal growth and development. He suggests that family relationships, despite their challenges, offer valuable opportunities for learning and self-improvement. By approaching family dynamics with an open heart and a willingness to grow, individuals can contribute to creating a more harmonious and supportive family environment. Embracing life's uncertainty, finding peace in the unknown. In For Imperfect Things, Haemin Sunim addresses the challenge of dealing with life's inherent uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and despite our best efforts, we cannot always control or foresee what the future holds. Embracing uncertainty is a key theme in Sunim's teachings, offering a pathway to peace and resilience. The nature of uncertainty. Uncertainty is a fundamental aspect of life. Whether it's the unpredictability of the future, the randomness of events, or the uncontrollable factors that influence our lives, uncertainty is ever present. Sunim highlights that accepting uncertainty is crucial for finding inner peace and reducing anxiety. Sunim writes, "Uncertainty is not something to be feared or resisted, but something to be embraced. It is a natural part of life, and by accepting it, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable." Acknowledging that uncertainty is an unavoidable part of life helps us shift our focus from trying to control every outcome to accepting and adapting to the unknown. This shift in perspective can significantly reduce stress and enhance our overall sense of well-being. The impact of striving for control. Many of us attempt to exert control over every aspect of our lives in an effort to mitigate uncertainty. We plan meticulously, anticipate outcomes, and seek security and predictability. However, Sunim points out that this constant striving for control often leads to frustration and disappointment. He explains, the more we try to control every aspect of our lives, the more we resist the natural flow of uncertainty. This resistance creates stress and prevents us from fully enjoying the present moment. The pursuit of control can lead to a rigid mindset, where we become fixated on specific outcomes and struggle to adapt when things don't go as planned. Sunim encourages us to embrace flexibility and openness, recognizing that true peace comes from accepting the unpredictability of life. Cultivating acceptance. Cultivating acceptance of uncertainty involves several key practices. Sunim offers practical guidance on how to develop a more accepting and resilient mindset. 1. Practice. Mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment without judgment. By focusing on the present, we can reduce anxiety about the future and increase our capacity to handle uncertainty. Sunim advises, mindfulness helps us anchor ourselves in the present moment, making it easier to accept and navigate the uncertainties of life. Second shift. Your perspective. Viewing uncertainty as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat can transform our approach to the unknown. Sunim encourages us to see uncertainty as a chance to learn and adapt, rather than something to be avoided or feared. When we embrace uncertainty with a growth mindset, we open ourselves to new possibilities and experiences. Third, let go of perfectionism. Perfectionism often stems from a desire to control outcomes and avoid mistakes. Sunim suggests letting go of the need for perfection and accepting that imperfections and uncertainties are part of the human experience. Perfection is an illusion. Embracing imperfection allows us to find peace amidst uncertainty. 4. Develop resilience. Building resilience involves developing the ability to bounce back from challenges and setbacks. Sunim emphasizes that resilience is strengthened by accepting uncertainty and adapting to changing circumstances. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and flexibility. Strategies for embracing uncertainty. Here are some strategies to help you embrace uncertainty and find peace in the unknown. Focus on what you can control. While you cannot control everything, you can control how you respond to uncertainty. Focus on managing your reactions and decisions in the present moment, rather than trying to predict or control future outcomes. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during times of uncertainty. Recognize that it's natural to feel unsettled and offer yourself reassurance and support. Sunim notes, self-compassion is crucial in navigating uncertainty. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. Set flexible goals. Rather than setting rigid goals with specific outcomes, adopt a more flexible approach. Set intentions that allow for adaptability and adjust your plans as needed. This flexibility helps you stay grounded and open to new opportunities. Embrace the journey. Life is a journey filled with twists and turns. Embrace the unpredictability of the journey and find joy in the process rather than fixating on the destination. Sunim encourages us to find beauty in the journey itself, not just the end result. Finding peace in the present. One of the most effective ways to cope with uncertainty is to find peace in the present moment. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on what is happening now, we can reduce anxiety about the future and appreciate the richness of our current experiences. Sunim writes, the present moment is where true peace resides. By immersing ourselves in the here and now, we can find serenity amidst the uncertainty of life. Embracing the unknown. Embracing life's uncertainty is a vital aspect of personal growth and inner peace. By accepting the unpredictable nature of life and adopting a flexible, resilient mindset, we can navigate the unknown with greater ease and grace. Sunim's teachings remind us that uncertainty is not a barrier to happiness, but an integral part of the human experience. As we learn to embrace uncertainty, we free ourselves from the constraints of control and open ourselves to new possibilities. In the next chapter, we will explore the art of self-acceptance, learning how to embrace our own imperfections and build a life of authenticity and self-love. Conclusion. In For Imperfect Things, Haemin Sunim offers a profound exploration of the art of embracing imperfection in various aspects of life. Through his insightful reflections and practical advice, Sunim provides a roadmap for navigating the complexities of personal growth, relationships, and emotional well-being. The book's central theme revolves around the acceptance of imperfection as a fundamental aspect of the human experience. Sunim emphasizes that acknowledging and embracing our own flaws, as well as those of others, can lead to greater self-compassion, resilience, and fulfillment. He encourages readers to practice forgiveness, let go of attachments, and cultivate gratitude, all of which contribute to a more balanced and harmonious life. Sunim's exploration of family dynamics offers valuable guidance for managing the inherent challenges of close relationships. By fostering open communication, setting healthy boundaries, and addressing past grievances, individuals can create a more supportive and understanding family environment. The book underscores that while family relationships can be complex, they also provide opportunities for growth, learning, and deeper connection. Overall, For Imperfect Things serves as a compassionate and practical guide for navigating life's imperfections with grace and acceptance. Haemin Sunim's teachings inspire readers to approach their lives with an open heart, a willingness to embrace change, and a commitment to living authentically. By integrating these principles into daily life, individuals can cultivate a more meaningful and fulfilling existence, enriched by the beauty of imperfection.